How do you practice emotional sobriety when you are married to or live with someone who triggers you? This is a great question, and I'm going to answer it in this video. I'm going to be talking about emotional sobriety. I'm going to be talking about being married to and living with somebody who triggers you and what you can do about it. If you would like me to answer your questions about sobriety, getting sober, all of that kind of stuff, you can join my Facebook group or you can put it in the comments below. So I want to explain what emotional sobriety is first. Emotional sobriety is primarily skills. It is skills that you do not have yet. And you can learn these skills anytime you want. I'm going to tell you one of the big parts of those skills is learning how to deal with difficult people, because every single one of us has a difficult person in our lives that we have to deal with. And it is usually a loved one. It can be colleagues, can be bosses, can be friends, but it's often family members. The problem is not the difficult person. The problem is how you deal with that difficult person. And that is, there are literally life-changing skills. They changed my life. Once you learn how those skills, how you deal with anybody will change, which means the outcomes you get in life will change, which means how you feel will change. Because difficult people are one of the reasons that at the root of our drinking. But here's the mistake people make. They think the other person has to change for them to feel okay. Like if this person didn't do X, Y, and Z, this person didn't say X, Y, and Z, then I wouldn't feel stressed or unhappy or upset or frightened or whatever it is. And then I wouldn't need to drink, right? I drink because of how I feel, but it's how this person makes me feel. That is faulty thinking. That is a story you're telling yourself so that you can drink. And that is a big part of the work of emotional sobriety. It is unpicking the story you tell yourself that seems to end up with you needing to have a drink, right? So that's the bit that we take away. One of the promises I make with my clients when they work with me is that I will mess up their drinking. And this is how I do it. I mess up their drinking by revealing to them the story they tell themselves that leads up to the drinking. And then I take that story away because you can't have that story anymore. If you want to do that, there's two ways of working with me. You will find the link below. There is a self-study program to learn the tools of emotional sobriety. And there is also a coaching group, which is a live coaching group with me because lots of people want more help. That's the Soberful Mastermind. You can find the links below. Okay, so back to the question. When you are married to your trigger, it is absolutely possible to get sober, stay sober, be emotionally sober whilst you're living with a difficult person, while you're living with your trigger. Now, the number one emotional sobriety skill you have to practice is how to have boundaries and how to communicate differently. Boundaries are like the foundation of emotional sobriety. I did not know how to have boundaries. I didn't even know boundaries were a thing. I can remember being 18 months sober and a colleague of mine, I was at work and I was complaining about one of my parents who was my difficult person. And my colleague said, you know, you can have boundaries with parents, right? And I went, oh, no. Like literally my mind was blown. And then my next thought was like, how do I do that? Like, how do I do that? Well, putting boundaries down with people. Boundaries keep the good in and the bad out, right? And it is not other people's responsibility to respect your boundaries. No, they are, in fact, other people are going to push and poke at your boundaries and completely ignore a lot of them. You are an adult, so you are responsible for your boundaries. If something is unacceptable to you, you remove yourself from that situation, right? So let me give you an example. So maybe you're a difficult person, the person you live with, your trigger is drinking, and you used to be drinking buddies, and you are sober and you want to stop. In the beginning, you may need to physically remove yourself, go to a different room, go see a friend, go for a walk, not engage in the whole ritual around the drinking that you have in your home, right? the more sober you are, the easier that's going to be. But maybe your difficult person, your trigger, is undermining you. Maybe they are angry all the time, or maybe they are always getting at you like, oh my God, it's so ridiculous what you're doing. Like, right? That happens a lot. One of the first things I want you to understand is what they're saying, what anyone is doing, whatever anyone is saying, that is a manifestation of how they feel. It is a manifestation of how they feel about themselves, how they feel about alcohol, how they feel about the world, right? So what they're doing is just reflecting to the world stuff about them. You don't have to buy into this. You don't have to buy into the story. You don't have to believe them. You don't have to engage with them. You can politely have a boundary. And boundaries are, when we communicate boundaries, we need to keep them really, really simple. Be prepared to repeat them. Thanks, but I'm good. No. Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks. No, I don't want to drink. No, I'm good. You do you. I'm fine. I'm going to be over here. Thank you. It is boundaries take a little while to learn. They take lots of practice, but the more you do it, the easier and easier and easier it will get. So I'm going to tell you, most people, when they get sober and when they get emotionally sober, we can't go away, perfect emotional sobriety, then go back into our life. We just got to do it in the situation that we're in. We just got to learn as we go along. So a reframe for this would be, you have like loads of juicy opportunities to practice the skills of emotional sobriety. You can practice them with your difficult person, your trigger, all of that kind of stuff, because it's only through practice. It's not a theory. You can't learn the theory. You only learn how to be emotionally sober by doing it in the moment. So having boundaries, how you communicate, that was a really big one for me. I realized like there's better ways to communicate. So there's about being precise and clear with our words. There's about managing our expectations of other people when we communicate. There is sometimes a need to repeat multiple times what it is we're trying to communicate. And there's different ways of doing that. And here's one of the big ones. It's staying in your adult self rather than the triggered child response. So if you're married to your trigger, awesome. You have a great opportunity to learn the skills of emotional sobriety that will change your life. And if you want to start that, make sure you check below. There's two ways. There's a self-study program, and there is a live coaching group for people who know that they need and want more help and want to work directly with me. Let me know if you have questions, put them below.